and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
At this stage, the rocket was traveling between 11.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rachakbadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, and his son's name, who the word intimately called Jesus Christ, real name in the Hebrew is Yahushua. Also give it praises, honor, and glory unto the Harakakadash, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes this edification possible. I want to say shalom to all you sincere-hearted Akim wa Akwat, that's you brothers, and few sincere sisters make your bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors unto my beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and who rule well. And I'm the brother Azmawath here from the Great Millstone Dallas camp. All right, coming back this morning through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmal Shah, okay, to warn the Lord's flock, all right, to edify. And as you can see, this the topic of this lesson, it says the micro C-hip is at the door. All right, the micro C-hip is at the door. And what you can see, as we have, shared on the screen, it says the TSA proposes soft rollout of real ID enforcement. All right. And we know what this is going to lead unto. You see, this is going to lead unto Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, the MOTB. All right, which is the micro. It's going to be the micro C-hip. All right. The RFID. Okay, micro C-hip. All right, which RFID stands for radio frequency identification. And, we're dealing with the serpent here. All right. And the serpent is known for his gradualism, his cunningness. All right. His shrewd wisdom. All right. And, those things are displayed, by his laws and legislations. As a matter of fact, let me open up with this here in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. In verse 11, it says, now this is when you read, starting at the first verse in this chapter, this is giving you the mindset of the wicked, of the ungodly, and how they think. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 11, it says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. That's right, and the point that we want to get on this verse is the first half of it, as it reads, let our strength be the law of justice. You see, and that's how this man, has pretty much upholded himself, is by, his wicked laws and legislations, those prescribed decrees, as it says here in the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter. This is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. Right, and ultimately, all right, this main unrighteous decree that he's decreeing is what? All right, it's going to eventually be the MOTB, mandating, causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a M to the A to the R to the R. It's like a M-A-R-K, all right, in their right hand or forehead. See? So it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. You see, pre means before, scribe means to write down. That's that law of justice, so-called, all right, which we know that is nothing righteous about this. This isn't true justice, man. Trying to turn everybody into cyborgs, okay, and you already changed the molecular structure, okay, of massive amounts of your subjects, man. That's wicked. You see, but nonetheless, going back to this article, let's read it again. It says T to the S to the A proposes soft rollout of real ID enforcement. Let's read a little bit of it. And I want to read a little bit off of Wikipedia as well for you, Akim. Walk that may not be, too familiar with, what the real ID is. And then we're going to get some scriptures, get some more scriptures. So it says, this was published September 14th. So what's today? The 15th. So yeah, yesterday. All right. It says the TSA is, Transportation Security Administration. That's what it stands for, which we know that Esau has his, I thought I had it pulled up. He has his hands in every sector and facet, of life. You see, and, life as you know it is about to change. All right. The foods we've been eating, is changing more and more. The water we've been drinking is changing more and more. All right. The environment around us, the air, you see. All right. More smog. All right. As a matter of fact, out here in the DFW area, all right, for the longest, pretty much all summer, man. I've never seen it like this, and I've been in this area for about 5 years. But, all summer this year, and even last year, they'll have those electronic, signs on the side of the highway, and it'll give you the condition of the environment. It's been saying it's on level orange. It says limit outdoor exposure. You see, so this devil, man, he's just turning this earth into a wilderness, man. All right, he's destroying the place. He's destroying the minds of the people. All right, he's not going to stop until he's taken out of the way, as it says in the book of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. And we know the one who's going to take him out the way. All right, he's going to be ultimately Yahweh Shah, you see. But I'm going to grab this real quick. This is, I did a lesson on this whole article here a few months ago, me and the beloved brother Shaquat. But this is actually, let's see, I can't. Okay, this is DMS members, dmc.members.sonic.net. I found this article a few years back, and Spirit had me to save it. I can't even find it anymore on the internet. But anyway, it gives you particular executive orders. All right, that's going to be enacted whenever this devil decides to pull the plug and go ahead and declare national FEMA lock dizzies and things as such, and particular facets of life that's going to change by these executive orders. And what we're about to go into in this article concerning the real ID, that's going to affect ultimately, as a matter of fact, what it says here in 2nd Ezra 15. I'm gonna turn here in my Bible. I guess I'll share the screen. 2nd Ezra 15. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And this is the time that we're in. All right, the courses of these people's actions are going to stand in their power. Okay, this so-called, Constitution and Bill of Rights, all that is going out the window. People are going to do absolutely whatever the hell they want to do, from the leaders all the way on down to the common everyday people. It says, verse 17, and here's the point we want. "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." All right, so keep this in mind. All right, so this is Executive Order 11,003. It says it allows the government to take control or take over all airports, aircraft, including commercial aircraft. All right, so now with that in mind, Executive Order 11,003. All right, we read 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. "A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able." All right, so now let's read this article. It says the Transportation Security Administration is proposing a new rule that could change the way they handle travelers without a real ID next year. While the approaching deadline of May 7th, 2025 is still in place, the T to the S to the A has proposed a plan that would delay full enforcement for another 2 years. And they've been delaying this thing for the longest. See, because at first you had a few states, that wasn't on board. All right, now I believe it was last year, all states, officially got on board. Some people have already begun to, or a lot of people have already begun to get this real ID. But next year is this devil's, plan to it's gonna be his plan to, enforce it, nationwide. You see, so it says, while the approaching deadline of May 7, 2025, we already read that part. It says down here, the agency said the proposal stems from fears over what could happen if they must deny entry to those not complying starting in 2025. It says officials warn that travelers without a real ID, compliant ID, or another form of acceptable ID after the deadline could face delays at airport security checkpoints. And once again, all right, what's going to be that ultimate ID? Okay, the MOTB, the RFID. You see, you have to prove who you are, and if you ultimately don't have that MOTB, all right, the micro C hip, well, you're going to be deemed as a terrorist. And this article, as we continue to read, is gonna highlight that, okay, through a particular event, all right, that happened, in 2000. You see, and we all, well, you should know, okay, you shouldn't be gullible, man, and believe that thing wasn't, staged and by the government itself, man. All right, so it says, I'm gonna skip down here. It says some worry the long history of the Department of Homeland Security setting deadlines for real ID compliance, only to extend them as they approach, can make Americans complacent about upgrading their license. It says the deadline to get a real ID has changed so many times that it is difficult to keep track. And why is that? Because this devil, he works in gradualism. Let's get this definition, gradualism, real quick. Gradualism, a gradual method of action. All right. It says gradual, having steps or ridges. Yeah, Esau, he does things in steps or phases. You see? All right, when you consider even, that dragon juice, when he was administering that dragon juice, it was done in steps. It was done in phases. At first it was voluntary. Okay, and then he eventually got mandated to where if you want to keep your job, okay, well, you got to get that pokey poke, man. You see, but it was that in and of itself was done in a gradual phase, or in gradual phases, man, in steps or ridges. It says a step towards something, a degree of something rising by stages, arranged by degrees. See? So the same thing is happening, okay, with this real ID. And once again, this real ID is leading unto something bigger, is leading unto Revelation 13 and 16, all right? And this is just going to affect, one facet or one sector of life, out of many. You're going to have to, of course, have this, and if you want to travel from city to city, state to state. All right, and then also you're going to have to get that micro C hip if you want to eat, if you want to buy and sell, okay, anything. If you don't have, that MOTB, well, you're not going to be a part of the society. You're going to be killed, okay, basically meaning excommunicated from society. You're going to be, cast out of society. You're not going to be able to function. So it says, reading down in this article, this is the last paragraph. It says the Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005. Now check this out. It was passed in 2005 after the publication of the 9 to the 1 Commission report in an effort to increase security. All right. And, by them increasing security, what has that done? It's taken away the so-called freedoms that you once used to have. It's infringing upon them even more. Micro surveillance. You have more and more cameras now. You see, you gotta prove everything. You see, you gotta have a birth certificate, a driver's license, social security card, all right, passport, all these different, forms of, proving who you are. you see, in order to, function in society. And they're going to have all of that in one little device, you see. But once again, these things have just been done in phases. Gradualism, it says, the Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005 after the publication of the 9 to the 1 to the 1 Commission report in an effort to increase security of identification documents, making them more difficult to forge or duplicate. It says several of the 19 hijackers in the 2001 terrorist attack. All right, I'm trying to speak in code. It says use state-issued driver's license to board the planes they later crashed. So yeah, Muhammad, all right, Ahmed, all right, all these, but those so-called supposed, terrorists, man. All right, they had, U.S. driver's license, man, which that's complete, BS. You see, but once again, it's just the devil with his plots, with his schemes. You see? So I want to grab this real quick. Where'd it go? I thought I had it pulled up. Here we go. Just read a little bit off this about, the Real ID Act. It says the Real ID Act of 2005, also known as Real ID Act or stylized as Real ID Act of 2005, is an act of Congress that establishes requirements that driver's licenses and identification cards issued by U.S. states and territories must satisfy to be accepted for assessing federal government facilities, nuclear power plants, and for boarding airline flights in the United States. And once again, if you don't have this, all right, you're not going to be able to, travel, by the way of air, very soon. But once again, this is just all steps or phases, okay? This is gradualism to the ushering in of that MOTB, the RFID CHIP. So it says the requirements include verification of the personal information presented when applying for the ID or identification document, security features on the document, and electronic sharing of databases between states. That's what everything is going to. All right, everything is digital now. It's electronic. So it says the act also made various modifications to U.S. immigration law regarding asylum. Right, and they're also going to use this whole immigration crisis, which really they're the ones that instigated it by allowing them to come in. But all these things are going to be used for Esau to justify himself, okay, with his wicked laws and legislations, with the mandation of everyone receiving the CHIP. So we're here, like Elder Apostle Harris said, man. Hey, the micro CHIP is not around the corner; it's at the door. You see, it's putting the key in the keyhole and turning it, man. You see, in the end, it shall speak. So once again, life as we know it is about to change. Going here and there, okay. Get in your car, get on a plane, get on a train, wherever, man. Esau's about to shut this shit down, man. All right, but let it be. This place is done. All right, we're looking for, city that has no end. Let's grab that real quick in Hebrews 13. Hebrews 13 and verse 14. For here we have no continuing city. And who's that we? It's speaking about, okay, the elect, man. All right, that have taken their minds out of this place, that has become pilgrims. You see, we should be, detaching, more and more every day away from this place. Yeah, we still use particular things of this world, but we don't abuse it. All right. Why? Because our mind is in the heavens. Our mind is, focused upon it, or at least it should be, all right, focused upon the kingdom of heaven, man. All right, so it says, for here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. All right, and a part of us seeking it to come is by what? All right, being occupied in prophecy. All right, watching, looking at what's going on around us, so we can see how close we are of our Lord, Yahweh Shah coming back, man, and setting up the kingdom of heaven. It says, so going back to the article, it says the act also made various modifications to U.S. immigration law regarding asylum, border security, deportation, and specific work visas. All right. Now check this out. I'm gonna zoom in here. So it says concerning the real ID. It says the immigration provisions. It was established May 11, 2005. So that's when it passed Congress. All right. The identification document provisions, May 11, 2008. And then down here, April 21st, 2014 through 2018, all right, it was partially rolled out. All right. And as you can see the date from May 7th, 2025, which is next year, of course, that's when they want to have this thing fully implemented. You see? So if you're not going to have this, by this date next year, well, forget about, boarding a plane. Just forget about it, man. All right, we know that the masses, they're going to be on board with this because, these people, they love. This is as Scripture says, 2 Ezra, the 8th chapter, for this world is made for many. All right, so these people here, they're going to have no problem to comply to get that real ID. But, when it comes to, getting that micro C-hip, they're gonna be on board for that as well. Whatever they need to do, their minds say, whatever I need to do to, continue to, live my so-called mediocre life here, I'll do it. You see, but we understand, or at least should understand, what all this is leading to. You see, I'm gonna read this paragraph here. It says, enacted in response to the September 1-1 attack. All right. It says the provisions regarding identification documents were originally intended to take effect in 2008. And once again, that was a massive psyop, man. You see, and a double F. You see that the government, did on that date. See, and it's a spirit, man. We just came out the Day of Atonement. And it started on September 11th as well, man. You see? So that was spiritual. But nonetheless, it says, but enforcement was repeatedly delayed due to widespread opposition and refusal by many state governments to implement them. And what does the devil do? Okay, whenever he meets opposition, all right, he just starts to work in gradualism. And while he does that, he has these particular prescribed decrees in the books. So once, that perfect crisis, does come to pass, those laws and legislations are just conveniently there already, okay, and set up, for these particular things to be enacted. It's a devil we dealing with, man. So it says, eventually, states began to comply in 2012, and enforcement began in 2014 for federal facilities. After numerous extensions by 2020, all states were certified as compliant. And by 2024, all territories were certified. So as it stands, for 2024 this year, all territories, they're certified. So they're ready for this thing to be rolled out. It says, as of 2024, the implementation's final and most significant phase regarding identification documents accepted for boarding flights was scheduled for May 2025 after being postponed many times. So, once again, as we read up here, all right, where it's going to be effective at May 7, 2025, that's when they want this thing to be fully, rolled out, for every American citizen to have this, real ID. And if you don't, well, you're not going to be able to, travel abroad. Or you're going to have to, you're going to have to go through hurdles and bend over backwards, man, to try to prove who you are. You see? But once again, all this is just a build-up, and leading up to Revelation 13 and 16. Let's go ahead and get that verse, as we've quoted it many times in this lesson already. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. I'll start at verse 15. says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And the image of the beast is basically this pagan Roman Empire, okay, being the spirit of it being brought back, okay, by the way of America and the EU. You see? All right, it's Renaissance. All right, it's art. All right, the religions, the political system, everything. All right, and this is a very tyrannical, system that we live in. As you read at the earlier part of this chapter, it speaks about how he had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. You see, and we're about to witness this devil speak as a dragon, speak with those draconian, laws, man, to where people that don't have this one thing, you're going to be killed. You see, you're being punished over. You're going to be punished by the minutest of crimes. You see? So verse 16, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a M to the A to the R to the K. All right? You can read it. In their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now, I want to go into this word killed for verse 15. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up in a blue letter. I believe it's the root word. Yep.
Strong's G 575. Apa. Apa.
All right. Apa, it says of separation. It says of local separation. It says of separation of a part from the whole. It says of any kind of separation of one thing from another, by which the union or fellowship of the two is destroyed. Physical, of distance, of place, of distance, of place. See, so, that word killed, of course, you're going to have people that's going to actually be, killed. You're going to have, some of the Lord's martyrs, and you're going to have some of these everyday, common, Babylonians. They're going to, be killed physically. All right. But also, all right, you're going to be separated from society if you don't have this device. You're not going to be able to partake into, the affairs of this life, buying and selling. All right. Get on a plane and, traveling here and there. See, and you think these people want to give that up? Hell no, man. So they're going to be on board. You see? So, but that's the point. That's the point. I just wanted to go into that article, but we're here. This devil and his gradualism, man. Hey, it's working. And you see, hey, ain't nobody's, talking about this. But yeah, starting May 7th of 2025, this devil, that's when he wants it to be fully, implemented. This real ID that is. See? But let me get some scriptures off the comment board. Let the brothers got something up. Hey, shalom to you, Akin Walk tuning in this morning. Hey, Yahweh Shema Shabbat Wah, Barakar Tawab. I'm going to grab this real quick. The brother, Kazak Ban Yahweh to put up Daniel 8:25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And in context, this is speaking about Antiochus Epiphanes when you read the book of Maccabees. But this is how this devil's always gotten down, man. Okay? See, by his policies. All right, those prescribed decrees. So, let's see what else we got. That's pretty much the point. You have to water for these precepts, Akim. All right, but once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Shema Shah, Bashir Chakwadash. I want to give double honor to my beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone.